Welcome back to the conversation. This is Your First Book 101, What Imposter Syndrome Looks Like for Authors, part 5 out of a 10-part series. So let's talk about imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome? Let's break it all the way down. So imposter means someone with a mask who's faking and pretending to be someone else. Syndrome is a condition, which is a disorder, which means it's bad. What does it look like for an author? So, as an author, your name is out there, you have a published book, people can go read it and buy it, and it's possibly at the library, right? So, there's all of a sudden this pressure on you to go and perform. People want to interview you. They want to talk to you. They want to ask you questions. They want you to show up and speak on stage. There is a lot of pressure for those of us that are authors. People want to hear our ideas because they're curious. So here's what it looks like for you to have imposter syndrome. You get invited to something and it's a great opportunity. And you're about to say yes, but then something in your mind says, you can't go there. You're not a real author. You don't have anything to say. Now, none of this is happening on the outside of you. This is all happening in your mind. This is the voice that's in your head, or it could be someone else's voice, may not even be your voice, but this is what you are hearing as you're being offered an opportunity. Okay, so that's one example. Here's another example. You're at a book signing. You're sitting at the table. You're signing your books. People are coming up. They're taking pictures with you. You're having a wonderful time. Everything is great, right? Then it's time to go home. Everything closes. The lights go out. You collect your payments. You count out how many books you've sold. And then you go home and you're just sitting, minding your own business. You might be drinking a cup of coffee, sitting at the table. And all of a sudden it's quiet. And there's nobody there but you and your thoughts. And you think about how the day went and you're like, wow, that was pretty awesome. I got a chance to sit at the table. I got a chance to sign books. I got a chance to meet people who are excited about my book. And then all of a sudden it gets quiet. And here's your mind again, thinking of negative thoughts. And so the first thought that comes to you is, well, I had 500 books and I only sold 50. That's really only 10% of what I wanted to sell. So is my book really all that good? It's probably not really all that good because I only sold 50 out of the 500 that were in the box. And so your mind starts to diminish your accomplishments. Even though you were successful, you made sales, you showed up, people were happy, they had questions, you got invited probably to another event. But when the lights go down and the doors close and you're alone with your thoughts, this is what your mind says. You're not that great. The book's not that good. This is why you have to pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth because they're also in your mind. Only. Don't use that word only because that's making your big accomplishment really small, right? Or it was just a book signing. Like that's another way for your mind to trick you into believing that what you did is just not really all that important. Or here's another example. You might just be minding your business at a convention. You might be one of the vendors and you're at your table and you've got your books there and somebody comes up and says something negative to you. And you allow that comment, whatever they said, you allow it to play in your mind so that for the entire rest of the event, you don't show up in your full power. You start to shrink back and get nervous and feel like, ooh, is what they said actually true? You start to second guess yourself and you start to believe whatever they told you. And you start to say, Maybe I should just go home early. Maybe I should just pack this up. Maybe I shouldn't even promote this book anymore. It's probably not even helping anyone, right? None of these thoughts are based on reality. None of these things that you are thinking in your mind have anything to do with your actual success. And that is why you need to have a community. You need to have a mentor, a coach, a role model. You need to have people around you to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, so that when these thoughts start to pop up in your head, you can get somebody to co-sign with you that those thoughts are not only inaccurate and wrong, but those thoughts are not even your own. And it's okay for you to get rid of them. Block them, write them down, put them on a piece of paper and rip them up and throw them in the trash. Go ahead and release that stinking thinking, that negativity, that thinking that doesn't serve you. Get a co-signer to reflect to you how amazing you are, to really be honest with you and give you the feedback you need, but also remind you of your talent and your gift. Because if you weren't talented and gifted, you would not have a book. And you definitely would not have any readers. No one would be buying it if it wasn't good. Trust me. The marketplace tends to show us what people value. People vote with their dollars, right? You know that. And so I want you to start looking around in the world and find someone who's doing what you want to do, who's already doing it, and get into their world and start listening to what they have to say about you and your work. If you have an editor, sit down with your editor and ask the hard questions and ask for the feedback. People in my world, we have beta readers. So our beta readers sit with us and they talk to us and they give us their honest feedback. And at the end of the conversation, we know what we need to go back and fix. We know what was really effective, and we know what maybe we need to take out, or even more importantly, we know what we need to add. Okay? That's it. That's all I want to talk to you about today. The best way for you to overcome imposter syndrome as an author is to get with someone who can co-sign on your greatness and your brilliance, right? You've been in a situation before where you want a car or you want a house and you got to get a co-signer, right? Someone who will back you up financially. Well, you need somebody who will back you up spiritually and emotionally. And if you need someone to co-sign on your writing and give you some honest feedback and let you know whether you're on the right track to becoming a successful author, reach out to me. That is what I do. That is my gift. That is my expertise. I help people improve their writing so that they can become published authors in less time. That is what I love to do all day. And so I'm going to put a link underneath this video so that you can book a call with me and we can talk about your writing and we can talk about whether or not you should be publishing today, tomorrow, next week, or never. Because sometimes there are some things that just don't need to be published, and I will give you that feedback as well. All right, you have a beautiful day, and no matter what happens in your life, I always want you to just continue to keep writing. Keep writing.